was putting the cart before the horse. In other words, I started building the business, and I put a strong marketing team together without setting up a strong foundation first. In other words, having my bookkeeping in place, having my corporation structured properly, having the foundation of the business before I started building the business. I kind of went first. I kind of went and built this big business and then tried to do the backtrack and build a foundation. And that's equivalent to trying to build a house. And let's say you build this beautiful mansion on this nice hill, but you don't dig a hole and you don't put any cement in the ground. That house might look good for a short period of time, but when the winds come and the rains, fall, the house is going to slide right down that hill because there's no foundation. And I feel that's what happened with me, and that's exactly the opposite of what I did in this business now. I built a strong foundation. I have the systems in place now, and now we're starting to build on top of that foundation. So I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I've made, and one of the greatest lessons I learned was to build the foundation first before building the building.
I think that's really great advice. I know I have a lot of business owners that listen to this show. Great advice. Well, Stephen, now that you're on your way back up, what new habits or disciplines have you had to adopt in your do-over?
Well, one of the disciplines and habits I had to adopt was understanding delayed gratification. That was a challenge because in my previous business, we would earn a substantial amount of commission up front, and it was, $10,000 at a time. And so it didn't take long to make a lot of money. And so what happened is it started to develop bad character habits internally, which means, I could make a little bit of money, and a bad month was a 2-sale month was a $20,000 month. And, it developed lazy work habits and work ethics. And so it took a long time to get that out of my system, because before that, I used to work for a company on TV with the Duck, the big insurance company, and I worked for that one, and I had very, very strong work habits where I would work a lot for a little. I had very strong work ethics and work habits where I go to this company and I was able to, have a lot of success without that same type of work ethic. And so now coming back to this business, our profit margin is a lot smaller, or actually our income is a lot smaller from the initial sale. But overall, if we plant a lot of seed, we're going to grow a bigger harvest over time. And so I had to learn that delayed gratification. Plant the seeds today, and, if you want to plant corn, if you want to raise a farm of corn, when you're planting corn, you're not eating corn. You're eating franks and beans. And so I have to understand that now that, I got to plant all the seed first, and I got to water that seed, and I got to fertilize that seed before I can eat corn. Where before I would just plant a little, eat a little, plant a little, eat a little, and I ate as much as I planted. So when it was time for the winter season that came, there was nothing stored up. And so those are some of the mistakes that I've made that I've definitely had to adjust in my mindset first and then in my actions.
Mm-hmm. That's a great analogy. Great analogy. What is the biggest challenge for you in your do-over right now, and what are you doing to overcome it?
My biggest challenge in my do-over now is patience, because it's kind of like, I don't know if you have In-N-Out Burger where you are, but In-N-Out Burger is a very good burger, and they happen to like to put them right next to the 24-hour fitnesses where I like to go to the gym and come out of the gym, and an In-N-Out Burger is right there, and you smell that burger. Now, you just got finished doing the cardiovascular, but the burger is right there, you got to have one. But, see, if I had never eaten an In-N-Out Burger, I wouldn't have that temptation to want that In-N-Out Burger. And so it's the same kind of thing with this. I've tasted success in a major way, and I know what that tastes like. And I tasted it quickly. And so the biggest challenge that I have to deal with right now is, one of the biggest challenges is patience, is, being patient enough to allow the field to grow, to allow the things that I'm planting to grow so that I can reap the harvest later. So that's definitely one of the challenges that I'm dealing with that I have to work through.
Mm-hmm. I've we have a similar experience on that level of tasted a lot of success and then being completely humbled and then having to start all over again. I can relate. What are some of the ways, Stephen, that you are using technology today in your do-over?
Well, it's interesting you say that. One of the things that I've had a lot of success over the years in sales. That's been my background. I've been in sales my entire life. I don't know anything other than sales. Well, I didn't know anything other than sales. But a few years I started, recognizing the trends of internet and marketing and stuff like that. So I had to make a decision that I was going to become an internet marketing guru. I was going to learn internet marketing. And at the time I said it, I didn't know anything about internet marketing, but I didn't need to know. I just knew I needed to make the decision that I was going to become an internet marketing specialist. So I got on the web and I started learning things, started reading books and going to seminars and learning from people that were much better than I was. And so the one thing that I did is I set up an entire internet business now where not only do I teach people how to succeed on internet marketing, I actually have a business and I run, an internet marketing business. But one of the interesting things that I've learned over the last years is that no one person knows everything about internet marketing. And that's what I thought I had to learn over the years. I thought I had to learn everything. I don't need to learn everything. I just need to know what I'm trying to accomplish. And then if I can't do it, I know how to attract people that do know how to do what I want done. And so that's what I'm doing this time is I'm building my business by way of internet marketing, by way of, the technology of the web. And so, it's definitely drastically different than my last business where it was all hands-on.
Mm-hmm. The answer to this next question might be somewhat similar to your last answer, but what service or technology is making the biggest difference for your business right now?
The biggest technology that's helping my business right now is internet marketing, and the internet itself is the technology that I consider that's making the biggest difference for me right now. I would also say, I don't know if this is called a technology, but my ability to attract the right people. In my last company, there was the president of that company was a person that I had respected tremendously, and he said a sentence one day. I was at a big workshop one day, and he said, he used to run a real estate investing college. That's what he did. And he said a sentence, whether if it was true or not, I don't know, but he said this sentence and it stuck with me. He said, it's interesting how I run a college and I've never been to college. And he said, well, how did I do that? He said, I don't need to know how to run a college. What I need to know how to do is attract people smarter than me that know how to run the college. And so when I learned that sentence, it made me realize that I don't need to know whatever business I'm going to get into. I don't need to know all the details. I don't need to know all the fine lines and how it all works. I just need to know what I'm trying to accomplish and then sell other people on how I want to accomplish it and get them to buy into what I'm doing. And so because of that, it's really expanded my business tremendously. And I call that a technology because it's more of a mindset. It's a mind shift. But those are the two things that's helped me tremendously. Hopefully that answers your question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. There's a massive trend in business going towards the practice of delegating, of really focusing on your strengths and then finding somebody else for your weaknesses. It sounds kind of like that's what you've discovered, and you've discovered on your own. What would you say is the most important character trait of the people that you do surround yourself with?
What is the most important character trait of the people that I surround myself with is the right mindset, right attitude. Because, you can have people with a lot of skill, but if they have the wrong attitude, then most of the time nothing will get done. I could say attitude is very, very important, and it has to be a positive attitude. An attitude of hope, an attitude of that things can change, that things can be different, and they're willing to do what it takes to make it different. I've been through a lot of challenges in my life, a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but I've always had hope. I've always had faith that things will be different. That's probably because of my strong faith in God, but also is that I just believe that things can change and things can be different no matter what the circumstances are in front of me. So the people I surround myself with, I like to have those type of people with that same type of mindset.
What's in your future right now that really excites you?
One of the things that really excites me right now is the ability to see MaxiView, my company, go from nothing to a multi hundreds of millions of dollar company. Multi-million dollar company over the next few years. To see, help my friend Harry take his company to where him going out selling one product at a time at home shows to being a national brand name product. I believe that one day people are going to walk into a car dealership and say, do you have MaxiViews for my car? And, they're not going to be asking for blind spot mirrors. They're going to be asking for MaxiViews. Kind of like you go to the store and you ask for Vaseline. You don't ask for a petroleum jelly. I don't even know of any other kind of petroleum jelly. I just know Vaseline, that's it. And so that's my goal, is to see this company go to that level where MaxiView is the brand, and that's it. So I'm excited about that. And the reason I'm excited about that is not for the money, is to give me the freedom to be able to do what I want to do for God. I actually have a goal to put together workshops, and I wrote a book on living the Christian life and training and stuff like that. So my ultimate goal is to, go do that, as a full-time thing, mostly full-time. I want to be able to work, 2-3 hours a day and go do work for God for the other 8 hours a day. So that's my ultimate goal. So that's what I'm excited about. That's where my future is going, and I know it's right around the corner.
Yeah, it sounds like it, and from what I know of you in the past, I don't doubt it a second. Well, if someone wanted to learn a little bit more about your company and what you're doing, how would they get some more information?
Sure. They can actually go to our website at MaxiViewMirrors.com. That's MaxiViewMirrors.com. Check out the website, or if they have a question, they can email me direct at Stephen, Stephen, at MaxiView Inc. Or they can call my number at 888-788-7413. Any of those, they can reach me.
I'm sorry, will you repeat the phone number real quick again? I'm writing it down.
Sure. It's 888-788-7413, and my direct extension is 100.
Extension 100. Okay, I'll put that in the show notes as well so people can refer to that through the transcripts.
No problem.
Well, Stephen, I really appreciate your time with us and sharing so authentically and sincerely what you've been through and how you're pulling yourself back up, and it sounds like you're darn near there. What is one word of advice, or maybe you've got a few words of advice, that you would give to somebody that's listening right now that finds themselves at a low point?
Now, if you find yourself at a low point, the biggest thing I would do